Hey, hey everybody, how have you guys been? I just thought I'd jump in really quick. Welcome back to the new channel. Marcy talks about it, just about everything. It's been what, a week, I guess, a few days since I spoke with you guys. Look, the TV is all on. I don't have my setup. We're not even trying to. We're not trying to watch whatever's on Netflix. This is a quick one. Hey, I just want to share something really positive with you guys that I picked up this week. I made a customer service call just to take care of some business, and as a woman of color, um, I was speaking to another woman of color, customer service representative. And if you're new to the channel, because it's a new channel, find your interest in any of these topics and subscribe to help grow the channel. I would appreciate that. And click the notification bell because, as you can see, 1 o'clock in the morning, Marcy could be talking about it, just about everything, just about anything, just about at any time. Okay, hello. So, uh, do that, and I'll certainly appreciate it as we grow and flow together. But again, back to this very positive experience. As you can see, the title Africans and African Americans, a positive story. It's a really quick story. So, being an African American and Native American in there too, for myself, and making a customer service call to a young lady, customer service rep who's an African American. And I usually take notes when I'm talking to someone, and her name was kind of hard to pronounce and spell. And I could kind of tell that maybe it was an African American name, but when I went to say, okay, well, can you spell your name for my notes? So I could just make sure, you know how you do when you call customer service about a matter. When she spelled it, I was like, oh, I said, how do you spell it? Blah, 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 kind of typical, some typical African American name spellings. And I had it so wrong. It was just like, oh, I was like, oops. And she said, well, let me just tell you something about my name. And I was like, okay, customer service call. I don't have anything. I got time to sit up and chit chat while you're at work. Don't want to get fired. Anywho, so she just simply told me that her name was spelled the way that it was because it was an African name, a totally African name. And I thought, was that right? And I was like, oh, how did that happen? And you're African American. She said, well, one of my aunts, I believe she said, married an African man. And they have been married for eons and geons. And I was like, no kidding. She said, but the thing of it is he's very, very supportive. He's very sweet. He's very loving. He's been in our family a long time. And everybody looks up to him. So much so, I was like, she said he named me. My mother actually let him name me. I'm like, you don't mean he really is being looked up to. Somebody letting him name folks and everything. She said, not only that, he's been allowed to name all the girls in our family. I was like, you don't mean they? I was like, who you supposed to be Mufasa or something? I was like, look. That is that is so great. And it has a lot to do with, if you read the description for this particular video, but just even the title. That's such a lovely, positive story for African and African American positivity, unity, coming together, or whatever. Because in my description, what I um, wrote there, that I don't know how often people read descriptions when they're watching YouTube videos, like never. Anyway, maybe that's just for YouTube community. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I wrote was, quite often, and I've seen some YouTube videos about Africans and their imagery, perception, and even stereotypes about African American blacks in America and vice versa. African American thoughts or feelings or stereotypes or feeling separatism and um, you know, not necessarily understanding one another because there's such a gap in time in our cultural history, obviously due to slavery and so forth and so on. Such a lot of distance and a lot of time. So who knew? But at the end of the day, there are ancestral bloodline. And we've got a lot of cultural things that we could just watch on YouTube and learn in archives. But if you meet an African person and a full-blooded African person, whatever race you are, but especially Black Americans, African Americans, if you meet an African and you guys actually are willing to, not be so separatist because Africans that are in America tend to, not all of them, but a lot of them I've noticed they tend to stay amongst themselves. They know the culture. They a lot of times wear, especially in their personal lives, their cultural dress, eat cultural food and all of that. And, we over here at Papados and this, that, and the third as African Americans, because we have become accustomed to America and Western culture and European and Western culture. And we may slip in, because, the gene goes deep. We might slip in whether we learned it, we've been, taught it somehow, or we've seen it, on film or video or movies or whatever, slip in some of our African heritage, if you will, or some of our cultural, way of being or thinking or feeling or whatever. But we're just still so far removed. And unfortunately, oftentimes we're separated in our lifestyles and in our communities from Africans that are here, working, going to school, whatever. And that's something that we might want to revisit so that we can connect better and not be so separatist from one another just because of what? What reason? What? Too westernized? Well, hello. Go back far enough, and this was not a request for a vacation to come to America. Remember slavery? So, in that occurred, and all this millennia later, here we are, descendants, however, mixed blood with other races between America and Europe. Bottom line is our predominant DNA is African. So our African culture is important to us and important for us to get to know more of it, and important for us to get to know more African people instead of them versus us, or Africans living in one particular community and having their gatherings and whatnot culturally, and then of course Black Americans or African Americans living in theirs and just doing the American and or just Black cultural thing that we how we choose to live. So that's something that we need to visit. But I just thought that was the sweetest thing, very positive. This is a special day for me, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. Anyway, so this historical video that I will have for myself. But anyway, I just want to say hi real quick. I'm out of here. It's short, to the point. God bless America. God bless everybody. It's going to be all right. I believe that. I hope and pray for everybody that is going through anything that is not good, positive, and right and just. I don't care what race you are, how tall you are, what size you are, who you are, where you are in the world. Love, 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 love you. including enemies. Isn't a good book. Love your enemies. And hope and pray for the best for all of us. Because that sort of thinking is positive as well. And negatives do not create positives. You have to put positives in there to make good math amongst humans. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay? All right. Peace. See you next time. And definitely support. Why? Well, because I asked. And see people walking on. That's why I have my background that I do not even have. You know what I'm saying? Folks doing the robot, just really, I'm about to go, okay, before my positive turn a completely another direction. We don't even want to go there. All right. See you guys next time with Marcy talking about it, or Marcy talks about it. What? Just about everything. All right. Good night.